There's a fresh story, come and see. With Olivia and Jenny, be who you need to be. Honest voices, safe and strong. Come as you are, you belong. So take a breath, let's begin. You're not alone, we're here again.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to a special episode of A Fresh Story. We're going to call this our Book Corner series because we have so many friends writing books right now, and we were just so excited to get them all on to talk to them. We're kicking off this series with one of our favorite humans, Leslie Grace Streeter. It's true, Leslie. You are one of our favorite. You are like my single mom mentor. In fact, I was literally just on the phone with my sister talking about meeting somebody someday. And she goes, ask Leslie what she thinks of that. So,
Girl. Oh, we can talk about that after.
That's a whole other episode. But I'm really happy to have you here. So you've written a memoir, Black Widow, which is one of my favorite books I have on my bookshelf. And now you have ventured into another genre. So can you tell us about the book that's coming out in a mere 10 days?
Mere 10 days. It's called Family and Other Calamities. It is a novel. So it's other than memoirs or journalism, I actually get to make stuff up, which is weird for me. But it's about a woman who, like me, is a widow, who is a journalist, who was married to a Jewish guy. But that also
sounds familiar.
But then similarities in there. Basically, she's coming back to bury her husband's ashes to Baltimore from LA and finds out that a friend of hers, a former longtime friend who had stolen a story from her in her very early baby career, has made it into a movie, and she's the villain. And so she has to clear her name and her late husband's name. She has to reconcile with her family that she's kind of been about, and her husband's family that she's been even more about. And there's like a mysterious R&B diva involved, and there's lots of Baltimore, and it's very, it's about grief. And like I said, and the story that you tell in your head about your history and the story that other people tell about that same history. It's very Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, but it's like from the perspective of who's the main character, because they're the main characters in their own story.
Right.
And you're the main character in your own story. And you have to, if you're brave, or sometimes you're forced to figure out maybe those things aren't true.
There's so many things you said that I love. First of all, I'm so excited for you that you get to make up a whole world. I love world building. World building is so fun when you're writing fiction. Where did the impetus for writing this come from?
I wanted to write something that was different from the memoir. And I wanted to write, it's like fiction could be fun. And I wanted to write stories about women in their 40s and 50s who were the main character and not someone's older sister or somebody's mom or someone's wise coworker. I wanted to write a story where you could talk about things like hot flashes and the weirdness of sex or even dating when you're in your 50s or after grief, or what does that mean to start over. And I wanted to write about someone who was not a perfect size 8, who understood that, next to people who were more used to being famous, that, maybe she didn't want to be next to them because what would she look like? I'm very proud of her career and everything, but, you look different at 53 than you do when you're 23. And that's the range of this character in terms of when you meet her in flashback and we meet her in present day. And it was just important to me to talk about. Also, I'm a pop culture geek, as you know, so to be able to make Levert and Johnny Gill joke, and Morris Chestnut jokes, and know that everyone wasn't going to get that. And that's fine because it's not for them.
Right.
For old people like myself. And to have just a person who does not fit the version.
Right.
She's not a Real Housewife,
Right.
She's not Beyonce. She's not this perfectly poised person. Say that 3 times fast. She's just a real person, and real people don't get to present as the main characters in their own stories that are like her.
Yeah.
Often, unless it's strictly like a romance. It's more than that. There is some romance in it, but it's about the totality of someone's life. And I just really wanted to tell a story of someone like that.
I love it. I love the title. Where did the title come from?
My agent, I wish I could say I came up with it, but he's really good. Alex Class is just so great, and
I love
he
that.
because was like, I think some people like, so is it going to be just about family? It's about so many things, but the family thing you come back to because that's what that's who you are. If you're lucky, you have a weird big family that follows you around. And there's like my mother and I were talking. Okay, so my cousin Angela also Brooks is now a U.S. senator, and she was allowed to bring only a certain amount of people to the actual swearing in. And my aunts were like, "Great, there's like they'll cover us." And they go, "No, she has other people in her life." Oh, that's right. Because we, as that side of the
Yeah.
family, roll kind of like 10 to 16 deep, depending
Yep.
on where we're going. Like anybody's birthday dinner could be 10 people, and
Yep.
that's overwhelming. I think my sister's husband, when he first met us, was like, "That's a lot of people."
Yeah.
Like, that's only half.
Right. That's just the basic. Right. That's just the basic people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of the themes in this book that you think that women or men who read it will take away from it and relate to it?
I think it's that once again, it's the retrospection about an introspection about who you really are at this point. And there's that scene in 30 Rock when Liz Lemon realizes that she was the bully. She thought that she was bullied, but she really was the bully
Mm-hmm.
because that's a story she told herself. And that's a narrative that had been not only guiding her life and sort of like fueling her, bitterly towards success, but also the way that she dealt with people and the way that she planned to deal with people at her high school reunion. And I
Right.
think that when you have a chance to go, "Oh, I wasn't thinking of you when I did that. And I've thought that you were the one who was inconsiderate to me." Um, it's that kind of introspection in retrospect is something that is a hallmark of getting old enough to have that space between those
Mm-hmm.
events and now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only way to really be happy is to be honest. I mean, sometimes you're always going to say, well, you really disagree. But, there's always going to be a moment where you go, well, oh, okay. So when I wrote my memoir, I had people just read scenes and say, okay, can you tell me if this is how this happened? And it wasn't going to be exactly the way they remembered it, but like that dude was there, right? We were
Mm-hmm.
on a bus, right? Whatever it was. And go, yes. So, and that's just details, but like the big stuff, you were wrong, you were right. Or maybe I was a little more wrong
Right.
than I thought I was.
Right. So, moving from writing nonfiction to fiction, what was that process like for you?
It was at first it was scary and then it was freeing because it's like as a journalist, not all journalists are, hint hint, but I am bound to facts and I'm bound to the way that things happened. And if I get something wrong, it is a serious thing that is not a small thing. And in there's some people who write fiction who write fiction that's like based historically, so it'll be like like Anastasia or something
Right.
like because
Yep.
none of that happened. There was no John Cusack wasn't there, Meg Ryan wasn't there, it was whatever. But it's very loose, but it's based on a thing, and they sort of went crazy with it. But it's a historical thing, and you can say, well, it's in the public domain, so I can mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted the elements like I write about in the book. She goes back to her old newsroom, and there's a crack in the stairwell that a drunken person years past has banged his head into,
Mm.
and that's real. And so I sent it to a couple people from that newsroom. They said, "I know exactly what you're talking about." So
Mm.
I could incorporate this thing that means nothing to anyone else. If I didn't
Yeah.
tell you or people who read the book, they would have no idea that was real. But it just is a weird detail, and so we would incorporate weird details while making people understand that I'm not talking about any one person. There is one person I won't mention who was never nice to me, and so that person under a different name is recreated. You can read it and figure out who that might be.
I love that. It's you know what? Don't mess with writers because we always get our revenge. Um,
Girl.
I love that. Okay, so when does the book come out? Where can people buy the book? How can we support you?
Oh, thank you. The book comes out on June 1st. It is by Lake Union, which I will say is an APUB, Amazon Publishing. It's traditionally published, but by an Amazon company. So some of you go, oh no, Amazon. And I get that there will be some local bookstores that have it. Also, I will buy a bunch. Y'all can call me and I'll sell it to you. But yeah, it'll be everywhere. There's some bookstores that do not deal with Amazon, and I completely understand that. But I think it will be in some Barnes and Noble.
Mhm.
And there are bookstores that if they want to, can order it for you. They know how to get it. So, just like any other book, if they don't have it, you can call and say, "Can you order this book for me?"
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it gets to libraries and stuff as well. But
It
also,
yeah.
it's on Kindle, it's on Audible. Um, yeah, it'll be everywhere.
It is. It already has over 500 ratings on Amazon, so pretty
And
darn amazing.
like I said, we were talking about some of them are like, "Oh, no." But
Yeah,
it's
but the rating, you have a lot of ratings.
a
The
lot of
reviews,
ratings.
people have weird reasons for reviewing. I mean,
They do. Like, the one my favorite Black Widow review was it's a sad, funny journey, and the guy goes, "I found it neither sad or funny." And I was like, "I can see you not finding it funny, but it's about somebody's husband dying. It's a
yeah.
little sad, right?" Like, now you're just being stupid. Now you're just
Yeah. I
but I just
mean,
laugh.
if the packaging isn't up to par, then they complain about that and give you a 2-star review.
Oh, I
So,
had a 2-star. I couldn't even get past the cover. It's like,
yeah.
there's always an option not to review it, though. There's always an option to go,
Hmm.
"I didn't actually read this."
Well, I'm excited to read it. And I love the cover and I love you and I'm so excited for like just this new I feel like this is going to be the first of many. You have so many great ideas and I love that you're melding kind of like your world in with this fictional world and I really love that you are bringing regular women into the picture here to be the main stars.
And to be because we get to be damaged, but also be heroes or, like, at least figure stuff out, and we don't have to be like I look at things like The Devil Wears Prada and go, "They're real people, but they're all a size 2, and they make fun of a girl for being a size 6." That
Yeah.
does none of that.
No, and
Right.
it's funny because talking about pop culture, I've been watching Superstore before bed, and I think one of the reasons I love Superstore is that everybody is a real size.
Everyone's real even the little Cheyenne is
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
a size or 2 larger than if that show been made in the 2000s,
yep, yep,
it would have been
yep,
completely differently. Everyone, even the people with romantic interest, are
yep,
normal sized
yep. Normal
people.
sized people. Yeah, it makes you feel so much more human to be around people like that in
It's
pop culture and TV and books. Well, we'll put the link in the show notes for this and for your website, and so people can get in touch with you. And I just cannot wait to make this a big summer read. So go
Thank you.
buy the book. Just for one more time, tell us the title so we don't forget.
Family and Other Calamities.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Leslie.
It's a fresh story, come and see. With Olivia and Jenny, be who you need to be. Honest voices, safe and strong. Come as you are, you belong. So take a breath, let's begin. You're not alone, we're here again.